You talk to any casual person down out there on the street, at your local gym, at the sports bar, it doesn't matter. You got a lot of people who are sitting here saying Alex Paeta is going to knock Adesanya out, left hook Larry, get it done. But AJ, I beg to differ. I think we've seen this fight many a time. I think we saw this fight with Yoel Romero. I think we saw this fight with Robert Whitaker. I think we saw this fight over and over and over again, but for some reason, because they have a history, because Adesanya was winning a fight, then got knocked out by Paeta, a lot of people think this is the kryptonite. What do you think?
Ooh, I think it's hard to shake off a knockout, especially hard to shake off a knockout when you were winning the fight right there, man. Go back to old school bully days. You always remember that one kid that got one on you. And now Izzy, it's a chance to get it back. And I don't know, Derek. I mean, this is a big one because does the mental game of Izzy play? Because as far as we've seen any other fight of Israel Adesanya, it'd be absolutely blasphemous to say that his mental game is going to be coming into question in a fight. Man, this guy's the mental warfare. This guy's the king, man. This guy has all the games locked down. But for some reason, the narrative is somebody has your number. I don't necessarily believe it, man. What about you?
Yeah, no, I don't believe in it. I just think when we're talking about mixed martial arts, we're talking about a completely different skill set, a completely different sport. But the biggest thing that I need to take away from here, if anything, is look at the people that Israel Adesanya has fought. I think that it's not even, honestly, it doesn't make sense, AJ. I want you to tell me right now, does it even make sense to run through the history of an Israel Adesanya, given this man has dominated the division, 6 title defenses in a fucking row, man. Yeah, you have to play it safe a little bit, but I think this begs a better question. Because I already said, with your face expressions right there, the question is easily, no, we don't need to run through that. We already know what Israel Adesanya is capable of. This is the question here. If you're a challenger, is it not your job to walk forward, to initiate, to take the belt from the champion, right? Given that's the case, what initiative is there for an Israel Adesanya to say, I'm going to walk forward, no, I'm going to knock you? Like, there's no point. You are the champion. Come take what's mine if you can. And I just don't think that Alex Paeta has a well-rounded enough skill set to be able to do that to Israel Adesanya. Do you rebut that? Do you or rebut that, rebut whatever? Do you push back? Do you think that I'm overlooking an Alex Paeta? Or do you think that he is truly here because of the backstory?
No, I think he's truly here because the backstory, Derek, I agree with you in the sense of Izzy's done this so many different times in which he's not really going to be, out of his element. Now, has Izzy fought in the striker that has the acumen and the kind of, like I said, the history that Alex Paeta presents? It's to be debated. I would say, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that strike really, really well. It's just when you're staring down that one man across the cage, the heart starts pumping, things start going, man. And that's kind of the only chink I kind of feel is in the Israel Adesanya armor, because other than that, man, we've seen him stand up and knock down the best of who he has to offer and absolutely tore through a division. And it kind of feels like I'm thinking what I'm hoping, Derek, what I'm hoping is revisionist history comes around Monday, Sunday morning when we're recording and we're all saying, yep, it was just a narrative. It was just a narrative. Everybody's talking the UFC, was talking a big game. We can't believe the narratives that we have been believing for the longest time, but it's time for fight night, man. That's what I'm excited to see. My thing, you were talking about, Derek, a more well-rounded skill set that Israel Adesanya presents. Do you think he's just going to fuck around and shoot one time just to mess around, or is this going to be a standing-only kickboxing match? Come and take what's mine if you can.
Well, I'm going to present it this way, and I hate to answer a question with a question, but I'm just going to present it like this, because at the end of the day, Israel Adesanya fighting an Alex Paeta, kickboxer versus kickboxer, they're both phenomenal kickboxers, right? But it's like people are forgetting, Israel Adesanya is a phenomenal kickboxer. So I'm not going to say it equalizes itself out because it's both interesting challenges, but at the end of the day, let's take a comparison. Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. This dude could take your absolute head off with one shot, same as Alex Paeta, but what's the other thing you got to worry about if you're Israel? Oh yeah, this dude's like a national level Cuban wrestler who can just slam me with a double leg into the mat. You don't even have to take that into consideration with an Alex Paeta unless he's really been training with this Glover Teixeira and he learned a couple new things. We haven't seen it before. I doubt that we're going to be seeing it in this fight, especially because why not stick with your bread and butter? You knock people out. That's what you do. You hit them hard. They don't get back up. Just stick to that plan if you're Paeta. That's the goal for me. So in my opinion, I really do look at it like if you're an Adesanya, unless you're drastically hurt and you have to grab onto a leg because or else the fight's going to be over, why shoot? Why not just play your game? Why not do literally the same thing that Adesanya will do in front of a Yoel Romero? And I hate to keep making up this analogy. I just feel like it's such a similar matchup to a degree. Not even similar because, like I said, Pereira doesn't have that wrestling acumen. But stand in front of him, and if he doesn't move, you don't got to move, man. Let the challenger take action. And if it ends up, because this is what I'm predicting right here. we're going to get one of two things. We're going to get a miraculous, stunning, jaw-dropping, movie-esque performance from Israel Adesanya, or we're going to get the same thing that we've just been getting recently, man. And you'll notice there's not the overhype in this one, right? The hype is coming from the narrative. It's not coming from Izzy. So it's like over-promise, under-deliver. You don't even want that. We're going to under-promise, and you're just going to kind of get what you get. I think it's going to be, I'll let the cat out of the bag. I think there's going to be kind of a tensious, like a very tension-building, but kind of boring decision because you're going to have to just play the game. And I think that's how it's going to go. Do you see it the same way? Do you think that Alex Paeta can make it more how can he make it more interesting than Yoel Romero? Just answer that.
Yeah, because that's a better question. Because I agree with you. I'll answer the question first, Derek. How can Paeta make this interesting? Man, he's really got to put the pedal to the metal, gas all day long, and force Izzy into a dogfight. And I think it's the other way, man. Throw those flying knees, throwing stuff up the middle, cutting off the cage, making this really a 3-round fight. If he plans for a 3-round fight, obviously, and at the same point, I don't think he's going to win a decision anyway. But if he plans for a 3-round fight and tries to get that finish at some point, that's how Paeta wins this one. Another knockout, solidify that you can you have this dude's number all day long. Mm-hmm. But for me personally, Derek, I agree with you, man. There's been times in history where wrestlers have fought wrestlers and we end up in a striking battle and we end up in a firefight. Yeah. More often than not, though, when we have a striker and a striker, we end up in kind of a boring, like you said, Yoel Romero style fight, or even there's been multiple fight where we expect two big dudes who are coming in to bang, not especially in this case, kickboxing artists, and we're going to see a very technical decision, unfortunately. But I do agree. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat the entire time, expecting 100%. That knockout to come from Paeta. Whether that's narrative or not, we'll see.
And I think it's tough because I think on one hand, the most exciting part of this fight is if you're a Paeta fan and you're like, oh my God, when's the knockout coming? Oh my God, it came so close. But that's how it is for every fight, you know? And I'm not trying to be dismissive whatsoever because if Pereira does this, bro, I mean, listen, you are the new star. You are the belle of the ball. However, I really do like that plus 125 Israel Adesanya decision prop. I really, really like that. I'm not going to lie. If you're a big homer and you want to see violence and you're just rooting for a good time, yeah, throw a little cash on that plus 160 per money line, you know what I mean, for the hedge. Or you can go plus 200 for the TKO. Honestly, I'd go plus 160 just because you got more options at the end of the day. But I like the decision for that reason. Do you see Israel Adesanya? Because I do see in a certain world he could get Pereira out of there, but I think it's going to be tough to come by unless he's pretty aggressive. So do you think that there's a scenario out there where he can get the knockout?
Oh yeah, especially if Paeta is going with the all gas method. We kind of go that Paulo Costa route. Get him going, burn him out, knock him out. I can easily see it happening. So if you're looking for that, plus 400 TKO, not a bad prop. I'm also personally going with the Israel Adesanya plus 125 decision. But like Derek said, I also agree the if you're going Pereira, go money line plus 160 makes a lot of sense. You have multiple options, and if you're Izzy, you're feeling brave. TKO plus 400 got a little ring to it.
100%. So those are your picks for your main event. We have and still Israel Adesanya, the last style bender. Let's not come on, man. Put some respect on the man's name. Pereira got 7 fights in the UFC. In his MMA career, actually, in total. Come on, man. I'm just saying.
3 in the UFC.
Yeah, 3 in the UFC, 7 total. Come on, brother. You know what I'm saying? And then you made me forget about that Costa fight. That's what I'm saying. That's how deep this man's hit list is. It's just like, oh, yeah, Paulo Costa, no big deal. Yeah, just knocked him out and dry humped him on the way out. All right, brother. Now let's move on to the co-main event.